We are live. Okay. Call to order the Township Council business session of February 2nd, which was rescheduled from January 26th. Roll call.
Charles,
Here.
Gawas,
Here.
Jeevers.
Here.
Mandel.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Are we adequately noticed?
Yes, this rescheduled meeting was adequately noticed on January 23rd, 2026 to the Times in the Princeton Packet, filed with the municipal clerk and posted at the municipal building and on the township website. Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Allegiance for the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, we don't have any ceremonial matters today. This would be the first round of public comments, which would be for 30 minutes. Each resident gets about 3 minutes to speak. Alison, do we have a list?
Yes, I do. I have one person on the list. Jolyn.
Hi, I'm Jolyn Maloney. I'm from the Watershed Institute. I'm just here tonight to thank West Windsor for its consideration in participating in the As and Pink Watershed Regional Approach. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have no one else on the list.
No one, anybody else in the audience? All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. Administration comments?
Then I'll go. I'm going to give my comments and then quickly rush home. I forgot my hearing aid, so if you want to curse me, now is the time. I won't hear anything. So, one of the things that's on everybody's mind is the Clarksville Road Bridge. So, every day people ask me about the status of the Clarksville Road Bridge. I have given updates when there has been specific news to report. But unfortunately, due to slow responses by Amtrak and NJ.DOT, there has not been much progress. I've been actively at work with both NJ.DOT and Amtrak, as well as the county, to make everyone understand the urgency of moving this project forward. The bridge was taken out of service on November 2nd, 2025. Since then, we have had meetings with NJ.DOT and Amtrak on November 10th, January 7th, and January 28th. In addition, we had a meeting only with NJ.DOT on January 23rd. I am very disappointed with the lack of progress on fixing the bridge. During the meeting on January 7th, Amtrak first claimed that they will take 3 weeks to issue a permit to inspect the bridge. When I challenged them why, they agreed to expedite it and issue it in 1 week by January 14th. I was very disappointed that the permit was not issued even on January 28th. Now I was told on Friday that the permit will be issued on Monday, February 2nd, which is today, almost 3 months after the bridge was taken out of service. And that is just the first step of inspecting the bridge. Even today, I reached out to both NJDOT and Amtrak. Amtrak didn't even bother to respond. NJDOT did tell me at around 2:30 that she will check and get back to me if the permit was issued. I checked the email probably around 6:35 before coming to the meeting, and I haven't heard back. So I just assume that they have still not issued the permit. Amtrak and NJ.DOT do work on bridges or railroad track every week for the past 50 years. There is nothing unique or special about the Clarksville Road Bridge. I can't understand why it takes Amtrak over 3 months to simply issue a permit, something that they have done thousands of times over the past 50 years. No senior member of Amtrak operations attends our meeting, and the PR people have refused to attend the council meeting today. to explain why it's taking 3 months to issue the permit. I did invite both NJDOT and Amtrak to attend the meeting today to explain why it's taking so long. NJDOT did reach out to me last Friday and she was very honest. She said, look, I have nothing to report. So that's one reason I'm not coming, because there's nothing I can tell you. Just like I feel frustrated that there's nothing I can tell you. Amtrak didn't even bother to respond or confirm whether they are coming or not. Amtrak is funded by taxpayer and has shown complete disregard to them. On Friday, January 30th, NJ informed me that they expected to get the permit by today, Monday. As I said, I haven't heard that they actually did get it. But if they do get it, they promised me that they will finish inspection by this Friday, the February 6th. They will then let me know what our options are to get the bridge open, how long each option will take, and what exactly is involved. I have also been told that Amtrak will make it difficult to get necessary track outages to fix the bridge in a timely fashion. Because unfortunately the bridge is over Amtrak tracks, they have to de-energize the tracks sometime before certain work can be done. Now, during preliminary discussion, I was told by people that at most you will get 2 hours or 3 hours every night, because it takes an hour to de-energize and an hour to energize. So even if they give you 5 hours, you lose 2 hours. So you will hardly get 3 hours to do work every night. I mean, that's simply unacceptable for something that's an emergency. I'm very frustrated with the business as usual attitude displayed by Amtrak. I've tried to work with them for over 3 months now, and I've bit my tongue. I haven't said anything in public, and I did tell them in every meeting that, look, I'm biting my tongue, giving you every opportunity to deliver. But I'm very disappointed that they don't treat this as an emergency that it is. I want to make sure that they give us the necessary outages to get the bridge fixed as fast as NJDOT possibly can. I have already contacted the governor, both US senators, and have sent an email to chairman of Amtrak, all board members, and its presidents. I am going to post this information online with a contact for everybody. I would request as many people to contact them as possibly can, because something has to give. I mean, this is simply mind-boggling to me. As somebody who works in private business, a private business would go bankrupt if they take 3 weeks, 4 weeks to do, or probably 6 weeks to do something that they do every week for last 50 years. So I have no idea. Nobody would be able to explain. I ask exactly the same question, exactly how long it's taking you to do actual work. If somebody sits down non-stop and is told he can't leave the desk, how long would it take him to issue the permit? Nobody wants to answer that question. I'm sure it's not a lot of time, because they do this every day, every week for last 40, 50 years. They do have an outage scheduled in Northern Jersey starting February 15th. NJ Transit did tell me that they have been asked to reduce the service substantially starting February 15th. I asked Amtrak whether that is on Northeast Corridor line as well, which would help us get a longer outage. They won't even answer that simple question. I don't even know why they are employing all these PR people. I mean, it's just waste of taxpayer money. Nobody has been able to answer that simple question when they have already going to have a longer outages starting February 15th. Why can't they just tell me whether that will help, not help, or it's immaterial to us? Because I do know that there's going to be some work between New York and Secaucus. But unless the train gets to Secaucus, it can't get to Princeton Junction. So again, I'm really sorry for all the businesses that are suffering. These two ladies here are working heroically with the state, trying to get as many grants as they possibly can for business. I'm trying to reach the governor that now she has signed, she has been sworn in and settled. If she does declare this as a state of emergency, then you do qualify for some other grants, has happened at other places in New Jersey. But at this point, unfortunately, There's not much I can give concrete answers to, saying that, yeah, this is true and this is what's going to happen. So that's my update.
Thank you, Mayor. Marlena?
Yes, I just have one announcement this evening. On the township website, the application and essay for the Lewis Bay Second Future Municipal Leader Scholarship Competition is online and available. The program is open to all high school juniors and seniors who are residents of New Jersey and plan to continue their education after high school. There are more details on the website under the link under the Lewis Bay Second Future Municipal Leader Scholarship Competition. That's all I have for this evening.
The deadline is March 9th.
Let's see.
I think it's.
I will look it up and let you know right now.
Okay, thank you.
It's on the website.
I think it's on the website,
On the
right?
website, yeah.
Yeah, it's not on unfortunately, it's not on what the material I printed out.
Okay,
so.
all right, no worries. Council member comments, let's start with, Joe.
Sure. Several topics. First, I want to thank our Department of Public Works for working long hours to get our roads cleared both during and after the storm. I've heard that our crews were working an exhausting schedule around the clock, out in the cold and dark for multiple days with only short breaks. Personally, I'm very appreciative of their efforts. Second, congratulations to all the volunteer firefighters who were recognized for their achievements at the annual installation dinner on January 24th. During the past year, each of our volunteer stations have responded to over 700 calls. Very impressive. We're lucky to have 2 volunteer stations here in town in addition to our paid department. Similarly, I'd say congratulations to all our policemen who were promoted or sworn in at the recent ceremony on January 30th. We have an excellent police department and the officers do a great job in keeping our town very safe. I held my first open office hours here at the municipal building on Saturday, January 24th, and had some nice conversations with a few folks who came to chat, including one of the owners of a local business in Village Square. I do plan to hold open office hours on a regular basis going forward, and anyone is welcome and encouraged to come speak with me. Last but certainly not least, with respect to the Clarksville Road Bridge closure, as the mayor said, the lack of progress on the matter by Amtrak and NJDOT is extremely disappointing. Mr. Mayor stated that he's escalated the matter to the governor and our senators. If that doesn't cause a swift response by the end of this week, then I think it'll be time for us to launch a full PR campaign with newspapers and on social media to generate public attention to force both our state and federal officials to action. The way things are currently progressing at a glacial pace is just unacceptable. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Linda?
Would also like to say that lack of progress on the bridge on Clarksville Road is totally unacceptable. The businesses are getting hurt by it every day and something has to happen. I know the mayor's trying as hard as he can. Sonia and Andrea have been working with some of the businesses to help them get grants and fill out paperwork and try and get some money for them because they are hurting very much. So the next steps we'll decide. I don't know if we need a formal letter or resolution to be sent out to the governor, Amtrak, U.S. senators, everybody that we can, because this is like unbelievable that they can't get those permits to get the process moving. It's a long process probably anyway, but that's not acceptable. I'd like to thank the Department of Public Works, all those employees, they were working around the clock. We all know that we had a big snowstorm and there parts of it were like ice storm and that was very, very tough, but they worked extremely hard and it's not only the roads, but they have to do the parking lots, the township buildings and the sidewalks and also that was an incredible effort and well below freezing temperatures too, and sometimes with the wind chill was really, really tough. And thanks to the police, EMS stations 43, 44, and 45 for their efforts too. Also, thank you to Station 43 and 44 for a lovely dinner at the annual installation dinner on January 24th. Just to highlight a couple of people, Bob Redman has served 55 years with the Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Company, and Charlie Applegate has served 65 years for the West Windsor Volunteer Fire Company. Both firefighters were honored, along with so many other volunteers who work constantly and courageously to put out fires and help people in emergencies. Last Friday afternoon, we celebrated the retirement of our health officer, Jill Swanson, at the Senior Center. And Jill has done an incredible job and worked for us. I'd say, I think it's upwards of like 40 years. And what an effort and workload that she and the other officers in the health department did during the COVID years. I mean, they really helped save us there. That was incredible. So we'll be presenting Jill with a special plaque at an upcoming meeting. I attended the police swearing in ceremony at the Mercer Oaks Golf Course last Friday night. So congratulations to all the officers who were promoted, and welcome all the new officers who have joined our police department. So I'm proud, as I believe we all are, of our police department and the work that they do for our community. That's it.
Dan?
Thank you. At the risk of being repetitive, I join with the mayor and my colleagues here regarding the incredible frustration that we are having with the lack of responsiveness from Amtrak. Specifically, over the last week, I've chatted with the mayor about strategizing of other options or tools that we could use to help progress this. And with his support, earlier today, I reached out to Senator Andy Kim's office, specifically his state director and his director of intergovernment agencies. And I have a commitment from their directors that they're going to now directly reach out to Amtrak's Northeast Director for Intergovernment Affairs on the Amtrak side. And I provided obviously some context of what's going on, really just trying to shake the tree a little bit to get people to be responsive. I don't think any of us really understand what's blocking them. And that's sort of the way I tried to frame it is like, we need to understand what's preventing them from doing this and what needs to be done to remove that block. So I have a commitment from his office to get back to me in the next couple of days to let me know what they find out and what they do. Hopefully their commitment to get the permit today, knock wood, is going to be fulfilled, and if not, then that's just yet another reason for us to sort of raise the temperature on them. I agree with Joe that we should start considering a community-based response to this, through emails and outreach to our elected officials, both at the state level and the federal level, to bring some attention to this. Because aside from the obvious things that it's impacting our own community, one thing that we haven't talked about is the danger to the passengers on trains that are going under that bridge. I mean, to me, this is mind-boggling. If the bridge isn't safe to drive over, it shouldn't be safe to drive under either. And we're talking about potentially injury to tens of thousands of people who use that train service every single day, and the potential of really a catastrophic problem. It's just dumbfounding to me the lack of urgency that our agencies are displaying here, which I believe is a pretty critical issue. So I will keep everybody, obviously the mayor, updated to what I find out, as well as the rest of the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, let me know. If you need any, support from me, I will be happy to do that.
Thanks.
Andrea?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me what's possibly taking 3 months at this point. I know the mayor's, part of what he's going to be putting on the website is going to include a letter writing campaign, hoping for residents to help out with this. We've already asked residents, and we've all been involved in trying to get the residents who can get to the businesses on Clarksville to go to these businesses and go to them and spend money in them as much as possible. I know my fellow council members and I have been doing that. This week, Sonia and I are going to be meeting with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority again, trying to come up with our plan to try to get us declared a disaster area to at least get some additional monies while this is all going on, because no matter how long it takes to make that bridge, even if we started tomorrow, that bridge is not going to be open tomorrow. I know the county and the engineers are looking at different options, but it's impossible to go much further with these options until the permit and then the inspections actually occur. So we're doing everything at this point that we can. We're looking to expand. So everybody who is working on expanding, getting something done, will be doing something positive, and we're hoping something happens. I also want to thank the Department of Public Works for doing the massive job of taking care of this recent snowstorm and the record-breaking cold aftermath. Many employees went without sleep or rest to get things done. It looks like at least another week of temperatures rarely rising above freezing, even during the day. So please be careful out there. Tonight, we vote on Resolution RO31, increasing our outside contract for snow removal. Thankfully, we've been fiscally responsible and put money away in the Storm Recovery Trust Fund during the milder years. Now that responsibility is paying off. Tonight, we also vote on 2026 RO38, authorizing the town to participate in the development of the Assunpink Creek Watershed Management Plan by the Watershed Institute and Princeton Hydro. This multi-municipality plan will determine projects to increase water quality and prevent flooding, and is part of our MS4 sewer permit requirement with the New Jersey DEP. The Watershed Institute has been awarded a grant by the New Jersey DEP to perform water quality monitoring and develop a watershed management plan for the Assunpink watershed. They have contracted with the consulting firm Princeton Hydro to monitor the water quality in the Assunpink watershed and use that data to develop the required watershed management plan for the Assunpink. We can participate in the study at no cost due to the DEP grant. And we started on this project well before we knew that was going to happen. So this is just a very pleasant ending to that. This important and groundbreaking multi-municipality approach is the result of years of meetings and work. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I want to thank Francis Guzik of Engineering and Mayor Marathi for their support to help make this a reality. The watershed is planning on holding the obligatory hearing right here in the West Windsor Town Council room for all of the towns in March, so please stay tuned. Other things that's happened this week, as I think most of my colleagues have been mentioning, the Martin Luther King Day event was held in our council chambers, so I want to thank everybody who worked on that and took part in it. The Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G Energy Savings Grant official kickoff meeting took part. I want to thank Sonia and Purnima Gupta of the EC for attending, and we're going to be putting a plan in place to have that work. I was also at the Fire Volunteer Annual Awards Dinner. It's always amazing to me the number of calls that the fire officers make, both the fire police and also the firemen. And sometimes it goes into the hundreds of calls every year. I was at Jill's retirement party at the senior center, and we all got to say a few words about Jill, and we're going to miss her very much, but we will be doing our official proclamation for her at the next meeting. And I was also at the West Windsor Police swearing in on Friday night and got to see several new officers and several officers get their promotions. Thank you for listening, and please stay safe out there.
Thank you. My turn. going last means everything that I want to speak has already been covered, so I don't want to repeat myself. I do want to just add, today is February 2nd, and the bridge was closed November 3rd, so, or November 2nd, so it's exactly 3 months today that the bridge has been closed. And Andrea and I have been working very closely with all the business owners, and we are seeing how much they are hurting. As Andrea mentioned, we are meeting with the government affairs from the New Jersey Economic Development Department later this week. So hopefully we can come up with a plan of our next steps, as Joe mentioned and Dan mentioned. I think we are at a place where we need to do a PR, news, media, whatever, to bring attention to this, so Amtrak can move on it and not just go by their daily business. These businesses are losing not only like 50, 60, 70% business, they have to let go of their employees. So if it continues like this, they're really going to struggle to keep up with it. So anything we can do, I know everybody here on the dais has been working really hard to help them. Hopefully after our meeting later this week, we'll have a better idea of what we could do and which chain we can go through to see if we can even get the area declared as a emergency or disaster area, so we could help the businesses.
And we have been already collecting a lot of data
We have been.
as a proof to help us actually get that. So that's all been happening as this has been going along.
Correct.
Yes.
So I do want to just thank our public works who have worked, gosh, I think 40+ hours last weekend during the snowstorm. I do want to remind our residents, because I'm driving through the town, I've seen many, many, many fire hydrants still buried in snow. So if you have a fire hydrant outside of your house, please take care of that, clear it. Because if there is a call that the fire trucks need to get through, and if they can't connect to the fire hydrant, time would be of essence. So please, please, please take care of the fire hydrants. I know it's going to be all icy now, but a week later, but that is something that needs to happen. I know my husband is a volunteer firefighter. He's been going between his work hours and trying to clear as many as he can, but he's one person. And also, I know other volunteer firemen and women are doing the same thing, but they can't possibly cover all of the fire hydrants in the town. Hold on. Allison, do you have anything else to add?
I do not. I don't have any comments.
Okay. Consent agenda?
Okay. Minutes, November 10th, 2025, closed session, November 10th, 2025, business session, December 8th, 2025, business session, December 22nd, 2025, business session, bills and claims.
Does anybody want to pull anything? Nope. Okay. Roll call? Oh, motion to
Motion to
approve?
approve.
Motion to approve minutes and bills and claims?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call?
Charles,
Abstain.
Jeevers,
yes.
Mandel,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Gawas.
Yes. Recommendations from administration and council?
2026-R024, authorizing the appointment of Rashmi Mangal as an alternate one on the Affordable Housing Committee with a term to expire on January 14th, 2027. 2026-R025, authorizing the refund of property tax overpayment. 2026-R026, authorizing the request by Joshua Greer for a 100% disabled veteran exemption and allowing the tax collector to refund the amount of $1,069.57 and to cancel all subsequent taxes per state statute 54:4-3.30. 2026-R027, authorizing the request by Michael Hirsch for a 100% disabled veteran exemption and allowing the tax collector to refund the amount of $3,035.91 and to cancel all subsequent taxes per state statute 54:4-3.30. 2026-R028, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the reimbursement agreement with Windsor Woods Luxury Apartments, West Windsor Developers LLC for solid waste collection costs for the calendar year 2024. 2026-R029, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the reimbursement agreement with Windsor Woods Luxury Apartments, West Windsor Developers LLC for solid waste collection costs for calendar year 2023. 2026-R030, authorizing the full release of a performance bond for street opening permit number 2025-37 to Maria Obleda. 2026-R031, authorizing the increase of contract amount with Scheidler Excavating Company, Inc. for snow removal services in the amount of $120,000 for a revised contract amount of $190,000. 2026-R032, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Turek Consulting LLC for miscellaneous engineering services, $500. 2026-R033, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Van Cleef Engineering Associates for miscellaneous engineering services, $1,500. 2026-R034, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with Earl Asphalt Company for the Woodmere Way roadway resurfacing project, $764,213.13. 2026-R035, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional services agreement with Center State Engineering for miscellaneous engineering services, $500. 2026-R036, authorizing the business administrator to purchase one 2026 Ford F-150 4x4 pickup truck with options for the police division from Winter Ford under Bergen County Co-op number CK04-BC-bid, $49,161.03. 2026-R037, authorizing the business administrator to purchase emergency equipment for a new pickup truck for the police division from Emergency Accessories and Installation, EAI, under New Jersey State Contract 17-Fleet-00761, $13,098.43. 2026-R038, authorizing the mayor and clerk to participate in the development of the Assunpunk Creek Watershed Management Plan by the Watershed Institute and Princeton Hydro. 2026-R039, approving the updates and changes to the Township's 2025-2026 Employment Practices Risk Control Program in accordance with recommended changes by the Township's Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund, MELJIF. 2026-R040, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center regarding fourth round housing element and fair share plan.
Does anybody want to pull anything?
I'd like to pull 2026-R039.
R039? Okay. Motion to approve 2026 R024 through R038 and R040.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call?
Charles,
Yes.
Jeevers,
Yes.
Mandel,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Dawes.
Yes. All right, going back to R039, Linda.
Yeah, I did read through the policy manual. It's a lot of pages. And I had some questions that I had sent to the clerk to send to the administration. So I still had some questions on that. And I don't know if I can get those answers now. And some are very simple things that can be answered easily. Others a little more
Your,
complicated.
your comments were taken under advisement, and my
Right.
response is that the document has to be approved in the manner that it is in. It has been reviewed by many attorneys, and I do not want to go into details as to, I don't want to go into details in public about coverage issues. We have a number of lawsuits as we speak, and I understand what you want to do, Linda, but I don't recommend it.
Well,
I mean, Linda, if you don't want it, you just pull it and don't vote on it. And then I'll see which way I can handle it. We did get your comments. Some of the things we can do, some of the things we can't do for certain reasons. So if you don't want to vote on it, just pull it and don't vote.
well,
on it.
it's possible after we could go into executive session for a few minutes. I mean, I don't think it's going to be long. I know it gets approved by other attorneys, but then we get it. And then
I
if we have,
understand
you
that,
know,
but
that,
I-
we get questions, this is our opportunity. We have to vote on it.
No, that's,
We didn't have to vote on it, but when we give us something or me something to vote on.
no, but
then I
Linda,
vote.
that's exactly why I'm saying just pull it. I have no problem. You pull it, don't vote on it.
Well, we'll pull it. I mean, if you want, maybe.
Do you
So if
want
we
to
wanted to
table
table
it?
Tape.
Yeah,
Well, the executive
whatever.
session, we could do that later, you know.
Not today. I'm
Tonight.
not ready to discuss it today. So we
gonna
can move it to the next meeting and I'll look at your questions, what I can discuss in public, what I can discuss in closed session. And then I will let you know what I can do, what I
I'm
can do.
trying to get you.
I'm trying to
Right.
tell you that I don't want a lapse in coverage, and that's
Right.
all I'm gonna
So
say.
I'm suggesting to go into executive session. I don't think it's gonna take too long, but
Linda,
I-
if we go in executive session,
you're halfway on that.
the only thing I can tell you is I don't know the answer, right?
So why don't do we want to table it till the next meeting?
That-
And then
that's the
we can
problem.
have a closed session?
Yeah, I mean.
And
it
then
was
before we
like
move
last
ahead
November.
with this?
I just would like to understand if by tabling it, if we introduce any risk.
That's what I want to understand. If we table it now, will we be getting into some risk?
There is a deadline, so.
That was
Okay.
the deadline was November, right?
And there was,
So,
I'm not discussing this in open session at this point,
So,
because.
yeah.
of
No,
coverage
pull it. No issue. Pull it. We will vote on it when we resolve all
Do
the.
we have a
Motion.
time?
Motion to table resolution 2026 R039.
second,
Okay. Do we need to?
Roll call. Charles,
Yes.
Jeevers,
yes.
Mandel,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Gauss.
Yes. So we table it till, we are ready to have a closed session, Mayor, with, on
Not
this?
today.
Not today, but maybe next meeting, hopefully.
I will check and let you know.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
Al-
2026
Allison,
are-
maybe we'll talk about it and figure out when we can bring this back on, the agenda under closed session.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, introduction of ordinance.
Ordinance 2026-01, bond ordinance providing for the replacement of the fire sprinkler system at West Windsor Fire Station Number 43 in and by the Township of West Windsor in the County of Mercer, New Jersey, appropriating $231,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $220,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Motion to introduce?
So moved.
Oh, can I get, just for the record, on the record, I'm a fire police officer, member of Station 43. Sonia, you,
And yeah, and this is a capital improvement for the property, so we don't find a conflict that is close enough to cause you'd have to Abstain.
This was already approved in a previous budget and was bonded for, so, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think we are okay in this one.
You are.
And we did,
We had a previous
we did
discussion.
have a discussion with,
Yeah.
our attorney on that, so we are good.
Mhm.
Andrea motioned it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Charles,
Yes.
Jeevers.
Yes.
Mandel,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Gauss.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing will be February 9th, 2020. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, it's not. It's changed.
It's changed, 20.
February 23rd,
23rd.
2026.
Okay. We move on to the second opportunity for public comment. Same rules as before, 3 minutes per person. Do we have anybody on the list?
Okay, I have a new person on the list, Terza Warman.
Good evening. My name is Terza Warman. I live at 5 Stoneleigh Drive, West Windsor. First, I want to also commend Public Works. I thought they did a fabulous job in a very, very difficult snow and ice storm, and I was very appreciative. Second, I did come in late, but I just wanted to throw out the name of our Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson Coleman, with regard to the closure of the Clarksville Road Bridge. And I'm just wondering out loud, you know, Senator Kim is in charge of the entire state, and Bonnie Watson Coleman is just in our congressional district. And has she been contacted? So I just throw that out to you. Third, I want to raise a very uncomfortable issue for me. I almost can't believe I'm saying this, but I am wondering out loud about the warehouse. And you know, I do have a sensitivity about warehouses, but the warehouse that's up on 571. And I know that the ones on Clarksville are in litigation. But my wondering is, what can the township do to make sure that a warehouse facility is not repurposed for the goal of holding detainees, human detainees?
Can you speak into the mic? It's very hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't catch the.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you want me to, should I take it from the top? The issue I'm concerned about is we have an empty warehouse on 571. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
And the litigation is advancing, I suppose, or holding up the building of the 7 warehouses on Clarksville Road in other communities in New Jersey. ICE has been in contact with particular townships. I'm looking at Roxbury and Morris Township for the purpose of holding detainees, human detainees. And there is a way for townships to amend their zoning regulations to say that human beings cannot be held in warehouses. And I am positing that to you. I will send you, some information which has been on the internet within the last few weeks. I want to bring it to everyone's attention as something that I'm very concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's finish. Anybody else?
Good evening, Ann Clifton, 18 Galston Drive. Over the weekend, a concerned parent contacted the West Windsor Bicycle and Pedestrian Alliance, concerned about students' difficulty walking to school along Penlisle Road. She couldn't be here tonight. She's working. And apparently, I guess works every Monday night, can't make it to council meetings. First of all, I fully support and appreciate and recognize the heroic efforts that DPW did dealing with this snowstorm, the likes of which, the amount of which we have not seen in a while, and temperatures as cold as they are that we haven't seen in a while. Today, however, I did go to drive along Penlisle, stop to take some photos from Cedar Court towards the high school. Cedar Court is 1.5 miles from high school south, and my understanding from the district's website, that is within the distance that school buses are not provided where kids are walking to school. So I have, apologies, I just have one printout. What I did notice, there's a few homes where the sidewalks aren't shoveled. There are several crosswalks that are blocked in by piles of snow. There is one fire hydrant. Sonia had mentioned that before. There's stretches of sidewalk in front of woods. I don't know whose responsibility that is. I read Mayor Marate's email over the weekend, and I fully appreciate the fact that we can't do any more plowing. It's not deep enough, and I fully appreciate the judicious use of salt for environmental reasons and for maintenance of the roads. So my concern is to get the kids safely to school. How do we encourage the homeowners to clear their sidewalks? Can we get other crews out at all with small equipment to clear where the ADA ramps are all blocked by, I'll give this to Allison when I'm done, to clear the ADA ramps where the kids have to, cross. Penn Lyle Road's 40 miles an hour, so we're just trying to keep the kids safe, have them be able to use the crosswalks and the sidewalks to get to school. I did notice also the bike lanes are not necessarily plowed as well as the streets are. Obviously, we don't know which kids are, need to ride to school. Maybe they have jobs after school they need to get to. Just want to make sure that they're able to get to their destination safely. Thank you. So if I could give this to Al.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? All right, seeing none, public comment period is now closed. Mike, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Madam Chair, with regard to the warehouse zone and the warehouse that's up on Princeton Heights Town Road, the zoning for that warehouse is for that use. It's not for a detention facility for immigrants or anything like that. If the federal government was to come in and want to rent that space for that kind of purpose, you'd have to come back in probably to the zoning board to get a use variance.
Is that partially because it's private property? It's not like they don't own the land, they don't own the building, so they just can't indiscriminately come in and change, repurpose it.
Is that some kind of use variance? Because there's no
You would have
no housing that is allowed on that property
It
for,
would have to be a use variance. and
yeah.
I don't know how you would get over the Medici standards for such a use variance. I think you have to rezone the property. I know where it's been done elsewhere, the town entered into agreement with the federal government and they rezoned the property for it. But here they'd have to go ahead and come before the zoning board because I can't imagine the town wanting to rezone the property at that point.
No.
If you're saying under current zoning, they could not do that even as the federal government.
They could not.
They could not. Okay, all right. Mayor,
Doesn't mean that they can't try.
they can probably, yeah,
Everybody
I get it.
That word.
Right, so, but, if that were to be the case, they will have to get a zoning variance.
Yeah,
before.
I'll take a quick look. I know up in, I believe it's Roxbury, they were trying to do that to one of the warehouses up there. So I'll take another look at that and, make sure that, I don't know how the federal government was coming in there with the zoning up there, but I know it's being contested by the township up there.
All right, yeah, if you could let us know, that would be great. Thank you.
And while it's being contested, they can't do anything, or can they?
I don't, I'll have to look it up. But, I know that the town has come out against it.
Okay. Right, Mayor?
Yeah, now I can hear. So a couple of things. I just forgot to mention, I was a little anxious not being without hearing it. First, taxes are due. I know last week some people had difficulty paying taxes online. All the issues have been fixed. Whoever did contact us, we called them individually. I did pay my taxes online yesterday. Works fine. I believe, don't take my word for it, but the grace period is till next Monday, but it's better to pay. Otherwise, you have to pay interest from day one. That's a state law, not township doing. Snow cleaning, I mean, I did get a lot of complaints about snow cleaning, but this was unique. I tried to go on ChatGPT and try to find out when was the last time it snowed more than 12 inches in West Windsor, and not for a while. But more than that, somebody told me it's 65 years that temperature hasn't been below freezing for 10 days straight. That was the bigger problem, that the temperature was below freezing, and the temperature was so low that the salt we used was not effective. So people were asking us to put more salt, and more salt wouldn't have done anything. They did go and buy sand and did put sand. Um, Whoever did tell us that their roads were not good, DPW did go and visit every road where we received a complaint. If they could fix it, they did fix it. If they couldn't do anything, they couldn't do anything. Um, Even today, if there's some road you think is not, does need some work, please let us know. We will send DPW out tomorrow morning. They start very early. They will come and check your road. If they can do something, they will do something. They did bring backhoe and did break some ice somewhere, but they can't plow now because the width is not enough and it's not snow. Hopefully, we won't get anything like this. I'm waiting for the temperature to go above freezing, and thankfully that will solve a lot of problems.
And as far as the sidewalk, and that you mentioned, homeowners are responsible to clear their sidewalks. And I have personally seen a lot of sidewalks that are not cleared. I would highly suggest, I think, they should, the people who are having difficulty should call the police department, the non-emergency number, and report it there. Police department by ordinance enforces the sidewalk cleaning. I think that would be helpful to do that. I think a DPW only clears the public right of ways, the township properties. So if it's a private homeowner's property, they really need to clean it. So that would be my answer. I don't know if there's anything
Yes, some,
we can do.
I mean, some homeowners association do their own cleaning, and some homeowners association are responsible for cleaning the sidewalks in their homeowners association, depending on what the agreement they have with township, or when the HOA was established, and whatever the requirements for HOA was put in agreement either by the planning board or between the township and the homeowners association.
Right, and did mention that there is a wooded lot area on Penlyle Road.
I will
If
check who
we
is
can check if
responsible.
that is a township responsibility, maybe we can at least take care of that
Yeah.
portion. That was the question, right? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, easiest thing to do is go on the website. Now there's a link to contact. Just report it there. It's a lot easier to just forward that email or send it directly to DPW than you telling me, and then I'm saying, oh, I'm old, I forget.
Yeah,
Right?
there's a citizens concern.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a lot.
forum.
We did get a lot through emails, and you may not get an individual response from us, but we did take a look at every one that we received.
Yeah, I did see Public Works out with their plows even this morning. They were driving around. So I know they are going back at each and every road that they have heard about. Council reports. Dan?
Yes, the Board of Ed met last week. The interesting part of that meeting was their semi-annual report on harassment, intimidation, and bullying. While the numbers are relatively low in the grand scheme of things, they did see a small uptick from, this is the first half of the year, so that's July 1 of 2025 through December. They saw a small uptick from about 42 incidents to 52 incidents.
That's it.
That's about it.
All right. Linda?
The Shade Tree Commission met on January 28th. During the reorganization, Helen Rankin was reelected as chair and Ellen Clancy was reelected as secretary. For 2025, there were 81 permit application counts under Chapter 170. In January 2026, there were 4 such permits. Members started working on a tentative schedule for discussions on the Community Forestry Management Plan. This plan is to be adopted by the Shade Tree Commission by the end of this year and sent to the Department of Environmental Protection as it is a DEP requirement. Members went over the schedule and tasks for Arbor Day, and the theme is Revolutionary Roots celebration, which will be in April, I believe. The chair will coordinate a date with the council president for the annual Shade Tree Commission presentation to council. The commission is eagerly awaiting to hear a date on when the amended Shade Tree Commission enabling ordinance or amended enabling ordinance and proposed new bamboo ordinance will be placed on council's meeting agenda. The planning board held its reorganization meeting on January 21st. Michael Karp was reelected as chair and Curtis Huberman was reelected as vice chair. Regular meetings of the board are the first and third Wednesdays of the month. This Wednesday, February 4th at 6:30 p.m. in Room A, there will be a master plan public hearing on Section 4, the draft on the housing element and fair share plan for 2025 to 2035. This is for the 4th round of affordable housing obligations. Following the hearing, there will be a vote taken on Resolution 2026-R04 to adopt the housing element and fair share plan for 2025 to 2035, which is the 4th round. The planning board will hold a special meeting on February 25th regarding an application for a daycare center in the Avalon development, which is at the train station.
Joe,
No commission meetings for me the last couple of weeks, so nothing to report.
Andrea?
Okay, the Emergency Management Council hasn't met, but I'm promised they were looking at meeting soon. So we'll see how that goes. Environmental Commission didn't meet. The Mercer County EV Readiness Committee, which is a county planning department committee, did meet. They're ready to issue a final report. We went over the draft report. Now the county's going to take a look at it, and if the county likes it, they'll be issuing that. And part of what that's doing is they're leading the EV transition in the county, hosting EV charging maps, increasing public education, preparing for long-term increase in EV adoption, looking for partnership opportunities, but their primary EV transmission is for vehicles in the county fleet, and they're currently looking at the more light to light medium duty vehicles in the next few years. February 12th will be the next EC, Environmental Commission meeting, and we expect that one of the things that will be discussed will be the natural lawn ordinance. Thank you.
Okay. Human Relation Council meets tomorrow, so I have nothing to report on that. Now we move on to our discussion topics under new business. The first one is the discussion on 2026 council procedural guidelines. I'm going to just go down the line and ask if any of the council members have any comments on it. Let's start with Dan.
Sure, since I guess I triggered a lot of this discussion, 2 different updates that I would like to see moving forward. One is to resolve an issue where the current procedural guidelines don't really have any process definition on the council's process to appoint positions to boards where the council has the authority. And so I authored an update to section 205 9.1 that outlines a few steps to provide some process to follow moving forward. And again, this is specific only to positions where the council as a body is the appointing authority. So I don't think there's a need for me to read through it all, but highlights public notice period, highlights disclosure of all applicants to council, a review and evaluation period, the potential of considering evaluation criteria, and waiver opportunities in the event of an emergency. So,
Linda, do you have anything?
I could say that there's a need to make some improvements to the procedural guidelines in terms of appointments. We appoint zoning board members and the parking authority members. So that those are the two that we do. I wasn't looking for anything very long and involved. I mean, but I think the communication when there's openings should, well, immediately, we should be told that. I mean, sometimes we were told that right at a meeting.
Right.
That someone had resigned. So once the clerk gets it, that should be transmitted to all the council members immediately. We should then have a place of prominence on the township website, I guess, to be decided where that would be, to say, hey, we got vacancies. And you could put all vacancies. It could be, for all the other boards, commissions, even, that the mayor does. Maybe have a little paragraph about what the responsibilities are or what the board or commission does. And then attach the application form to make it easy. So we don't have to search in a different part, different area of the website. So if someone's interested in an opening, then maybe towards the bottom of the page, you could just click on and you could get that onto your application form. We could just, decide, I know, and time wise, zoning board, you may not want to wait 28 days or longer to figure that out because there's applications that come in. So I'm thinking a much shorter timeline for doing that. We want to get enough time, a few weeks, couple of weeks, whatever, so people know that there's an opening and they can see all the other openings that haven't been filled. But for a new opening, you want to give them a chance there. So that's good. In terms of, I guess, criteria evaluating people, you should be like 18, lived here a year, something along those lines.
yeah.
I don't want to get too specific.
Well,
They can fill it out.
Right, and
the
that's why
application,
when I
fill in
drafted
those
this, I
things they
didn't
want.
include that level of operational detail. It's more.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, those are some thoughts there,
Okay.
to work on.
And I think
Yeah.
pretty much all of your comments are covered here as far as a procedural perspective.
Yeah. Joe, do you want to, do you have any thoughts on this?
My main thought was, I don't know, 28 days seems like quite a long time to potentially leave positions. You're talking about noticing 28 days, and then you would need time after that, right? Whenever the meeting is. So my concern would be that would just be too much time to slow down the process.
Andrew?
I would say at this point, I know the clerk, we've been working, trying to make for everybody, not just for a couple of boards, the volunteer book updated, make it easy to read, and make it something easy to find. And we've been doing some work with that because I think it's kind of fallen a little by the wayside, and now we've got the new website and there's new opportunity there. So that's kind of being done to make these positions open. And as far as the public's concerned, it's not really something to them as to who votes for it and who does this and that. I think we need to be kind of equal in terms of positions. Here are open positions, here are vacant positions, here's who's on the board. So that can be done through various procedures that are on the website. When something particular opens up, there can be an announcement that a certain vacancy, if we wanted to do that, is now available. When we hear the vacancy, the council should learn of the vacancy, and the vacancy can be put on the website when it's I'd say one of the land use boards, or we can put the parking authority, since that's one of ours. As far as the applications are taken for various positions on an ongoing basis. I would suggest that as part of this, and we have had these discussions, make it easier to find these volunteer applications, make it easier to submit them. Also, one thing I do want to do, which has been a long thing of mine, is the volunteer applications are, basically we ask for somebody's name and do you want to say something else? For the most part, we don't ask a lot of questions. So I would like to look at, I don't want to restrict anything as far as who the board picks. I have my own ideas, but other people may have theirs. That generally done for all the positions, we ask a little bit more about background, we ask a little bit more about experience, about why the person wants the job. We'd, of course, have to run it by legal to make sure we're not asking something we shouldn't. But I would like to see, say, these forms be reset up, circulated around council to see if there's anybody else, let administration take a look at them. And I don't even have a clue as to when the last time they were revamped. So that, I think, would be critical. And the other thing I'd like to do, because otherwise this becomes a, hey, if you didn't put it in last week, we don't know about you, is put a 2-year, and I'm throwing a timeline out there. Yeah, putting a 2-year, and people understand that when they fill the form out, that this form will be considered an active, and it will expire, because otherwise there's probably stuff from 20 years in there. So people should understand that when they put the form in, it's good for that, and they don't have to necessarily reapply if there's an opening, because if there's an opening for whatever position, then if the council or the mayor would get all of the active forms to make a choice from. So I don't think we need to go through a whole lot of who's going to do this and who's going to do that. And I definitely wouldn't want anything like 28 days, because especially with a land use board, that could be a really big problem. I think there's a natural progression that somebody resigns, there's a vacancy. We would already have a pool, presumably, of applicants. That pool could be given out to the people who have to make the decision. And at that point, there will be a meeting. The way it has to be done is by council resolution. So generally, the council president speaks to a number of people who are on the council, says, okay, this is the one. Everybody kind of comes to a consensus. That doesn't mean everybody's happy. That doesn't mean everybody got who they want. It means there's a consensus. And then that goes on resolution. That's legally how it's done. That there's not, the only place where that's not done is if you're replacing a council member, and that's a whole different process. But legally, to put people on the boards, it is done by council resolution. So, which is the process. And I think it's worked pretty well, because basically we've had a consensus and people can vote yes or no, and we've gotten some reasonably good people, I think. So that I would think that between these different things that we're doing, and if we want to put anything in the guidelines, we can put something saying, let's go, every time we get something that is an application for us, it should go to us. Now, one question would be, should we have a separate form? Because now we're getting applications for people on the administration's, some of the people check off 5 different things. So how do we deal with that? Do we say, okay, this is the form for zoning and parking, and the rest is another form for this, so that people
Right now, we
don't do
have
it?
one volunteer
from
form
everything.
where
With all-
residents can check off
Right.
everything. I know, clerk's office has been working on the citizens directory.
Yes.
Which is on the website, and the
Mhm.
goal is to have all the vacant positions available on the
Right.
website, so everybody can see what
Real
is
time.
available. So like Linda was saying, make it available on website. I think we are already working on that.
We already have
We
that,
already have
but,
that,
and
but
we've
we are-
had that, but we've had that all along, but we're working on updating it. And I know
Updating it and
Linda and I
making it
were
more
working on that
user-friendly.
last year to make it more updated, and now with the new website,
new
you know,
Yeah,
we've been working on
It's an
that, yeah.
opportunity with the new website that we upgrade everything, and
Right.
we are working on that.
Mhm.
I have had several conversations with council members on different occasions about the expiry of a said application form. So
Mhm.
it's, if, the resident may move from here, they may decide that they don't want to continue anymore, what may be the reason, but I think it's a good idea to have a expiry date of
Mhm.
an application form from the date of the application.
I think we even added.
So
the
it
date.
stays in the pool for a set amount, a year, 2 years, probably.
And it'll be considered
sounds
active.
better.
Right.
And then we could reach out to that said person at the end of their 2 years period to see if they are interested to stay on the pool until and unless one of the positions opens up, or not. Like, maybe that might be an opportunity to clean up some of the
Yep.
application forms that we have, would be my thought. I know right now the application form has all the boards and
Has them
commissions
all.
that
Mhm.
residents can check off on anything. So I don't know, you were suggesting to have 2 separate forms?
Well,
That
one
might get
issue,
a little
yeah,
confusing, though.
well, the whole thing is that if we're going to get all the form, I guess we get all the forms anyway, it doesn't matter. But one thing is, like, we ask somebody, why do you want this job? And there's 5 different jobs on there. So, I wish people would be a little bit more, what do you want to do? And hey, I'm really into this, or I'm an expert in this and want to be on it.
Yeah, I agree.
mhm.
Getting a little background information on the applicant would be helpful for, especially at least for the council members, that we have 2 boards that we appoint volunteers, members for. That way, we can have at least a starting point when we talk to these applicants.
I think even if we added the date even now on the form, there wasn't even a line to put the date. So we put that on there.
Yeah.
And then even if we, with the questions that are on there, if they honed in on more specific, how could?
Yeah, we can ask, and we can, if people don't want to fill it in, they don't have to fill it in, but we've asked, and and if they don't fill it in, then we kind of figure they're not interested in filling that particular piece of information in.
Yeah.
So we will want to make sure that we're not asking anything that could be, prejudicial in some way before we set this out. But if you look at standard employment type applications, I mean, some people put a whole resume, but a lot of people just put 2 lines on there or something like that. And the fact that there's only 3 lines to write on makes people think we don't want a lot of information. So having something with more on it, I think, would make us all able to make good decisions. And I think that's for everything. If we revamp this form, I think we should do it for every, all the positions.
Application forms are a PDF that
It's
they
a
fill in and email it to the clerk.
it's a fillable PDF.
It's a
form.
fillable PDF.
Yeah, which is new. It didn't used to be. It used to be
Yeah.
a piece of,
I'm
you had to scan a paper.
Step going,
Yeah.
is it possible to do a form online, like we have the citizens concern form that somebody can
Oh, you
fill
could.
in, and you receive it as a PDF, but
Okay,
I don't know if that's a
We check in with
possibility.
our-
Or it
With
could
the
be,
new website, if we
yeah.
can do a little more quicker,
It really depends. We don't get a lot of forms. I mean, we could make it a database if we wanted, but I doubt if we get that many
like a
forms.
Google form.
Well, even a database, there are ways to make that and then get a summary, and it depends on how fancy we want to get.
Yeah, I would like to see if like, once, I think Dan mentioned this and Linda mentioned this too, as soon as a position opens up on any board or committee, if we can put an announcement on our website that this position is open. Obviously, we can go back into our pool of applications and see if there is any active applications available. But at least make a public announcement, I think would be,
So I think all these are great ideas. But the recommendation here is not about updating the form or about the form or the details, maintaining a pool of people. It's the process that the council follows. And I believe that I've documented a process that takes into account exactly what everybody has been talking about.
But it does go way beyond that.
Pardon?
I said it goes way beyond that.
No, how so?
Well, things like having a 28-day waiting
Well,
period, or
yes,
having
so
a
that's
whole
subject
list.
to-
let's
Yeah.
figure out.
So 28 days, a couple of folks have said they thought that was too long. That's fair comment. 14 days sounds like a more appropriate time. I mean,
Well, this isn't,
I pulled that,
yeah.
I pulled that number out of like, this is a good starter. So
Okay.
my point being, like, if there's specific details here that are concerning, then please point them out. I went to great extent to make this as flexible as possible, so it's not locking us into forms or people or pools. It gives us the flexibility of establishing criteria if we want to, but it doesn't require it. It gives us, as you said, the opportunity and ensure that we have an appropriate evaluation time to look at the pool of candidates.
Okay, but I was under the impression this was a general discussion.
Attorney seen
wanna
the
stay.
recommendation? Has the attorney has Mike seen what we are discussing?
Today he was provided with them, but not prior, so.
Well, I was under the impression this was more a general discussion and not that there was one proposal on the table or two proposals on the table, or that people should be writing up alternate proposals to.
Well, I
Yeah.
submitted a recommendation
And-
as a baseline for us to
And we
discussion.
can,
So I would love for you to,
Yeah.
redline it and make adjustments to it.
well, I mean,
And
at
we
this
should-
point, it's more of a,
Well, at this moment, yes.
yeah,
I
it's
think
more of a general discussion, like if we had a proposal, what you would include, and that's some of the stuff to include. So it's not necessarily a starting point, but a set of suggestions that different people are making to go into a final proposal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I would like us to move this forward to a proposal, and I would love everybody's input. I think that's the whole goal of working as a council, is to get everybody's input and ensure that we put the best possible work forward.
Well, there's some ideas. So I think tonight for this, we got some ideas of where.
No, that's, I'm wondering
Sort
if
of
we
going
want to
towards-
circulate
Yeah.
and each of us can do a red line suggestions back to Allison, and then we can take it from there. And like,
Great idea.
I think like, let's work on it and see
Yeah.
where we land with it. 28 calendar days for something like zoning board might be a little difficult to hold.
That's-
So we need to figure out what would be a right amount. So
No, sure.
why don't we, each of us have this? Maybe we all can take a look at it, redline suggestions, and then send it back to Allison.
Yes, because I think if we all get answers from everybody, we'll wind up maybe being in conformity with some things, and we can
Right, and
move
at
forward.
that point, we send it to council to review after
Probably.
we've made our.
Right. One thing that I would like to add in our procedural guidelines would be this kind of discussion, because I know we wanted to have this discussion. We talked about
Yeah,
um,
which is really a separate
It is, it's a separate
Just an
section,
overriding section
but,
that
what-
memorialize the fact that we want to have a discussion about council procedures in a time frame that doesn't circumvent sort of the reorg meeting and.
correct,
be-
because we don't want to have that, and that's why we did not have this discussion at the reorg meeting, because the idea
It's not the
that
place.
was not the right time to do it.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest is we could memorialize a time frame. Possibly November might be a good time to have a discussion on this. If there are any changes, then we still have time in December to do it and be ready for the reorg meeting in
Yes.
January.
That's
So
right.
if we can, if we can
I
make that
see.
into a standard procedure,
Mhm.
is, that would be my suggestion.
So that would be a new clause
That'd
added
be
to the
new.
procedure.
If you're gonna do that, you would want to do it after elections were pretty much certified, I would say at that point. And then you could include anybody that that has been newly elected in
Yes, we
it.
could do the possibly like the second meeting in November
Yeah,
would be a
or-
time.
Or we could just do it the first meeting after the
Meeting that-
usually they certify elections late November, I believe. So we could just say the first meeting after elections are certified.
Something like
Mhm,
that,
mhm.
maybe, so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Look, I've been
that
here
would work.
a while and I have suggested that sometimes as president years ago, because we get into, so last minute issues and then it's like you have the reorg meeting. You really want everything set before then. So I know I've talked to some of you about that, maybe as council president, you put it on each year. Okay, if you have no changes, fine. It's a quick.
Yeah,
Put it in the
exactly, and
guidelines.
we don't
Sit
necessarily,
down.
we won't
It gets
necessarily
put
have
on.
changes every year, but if we
Yeah.
have a quick discussion, if there is any changes, that would probably be the
That's the
right time to do
That's
it and be ready for the reorg meeting in January.
Yeah.
So if you
Work
want
with
to
that.
figure that out. Anything else we want to discuss here?
So that's about council appointment procedures. I also made a recommendation about using the website for web pages, which we've talked about in the past a little bit. I know there's always concerns about sort of inappropriate use of the website. And I understand that and I agree with that. And so I wrote a proposed framework for providing a little bit of flexibility for us to provide information to the general public through the website, which is considered government speech. A lot of that is already there, like our name, our title, our terms.
Right now, yeah.
Contact
we-
information.
We have discussed that,
But-
like right now,
but
our
there's-
council pages, we don't have
There's
like,
no guidelines or documentation anywhere that defines what we can or can't do. So I think most of this is already being done, but it's not memorialized anymore. So I think it's important for us to put that in our guidelines.
Well, right now we have, which originally we didn't even have the titles and we didn't even have the our committees and stuff. And so I think we upgraded a little because we got that added
yeah.
and stuff. So now we've got the basics on there. I think everybody decided they didn't want their personal phone numbers on there, but we have the email addresses. I think the question came up amongst everybody is now with this website, if you click on your name, it goes to a page. And right now that page is empty and the page has your name on it essentially. So now we have the opportunity to do a little bit more by putting a personal statement of some kind there. I know that these pages pretty much get updated by Allison, so if we had a page, we would want something that would be static, and I think we've been discussing a static page. I would just put something like, we want a static pages with changes limited to once a year unless there's a special circumstance, like a change in assignment, a major life change, get a divorce, maybe you don't want your wife's or husband's name on there anymore, or something like that. So we always have to leave a little out on it. Then I would just suggest 1 or 2 personal pictures. I'm good with 2. Name and title again, because this is now our page. Some kind of personal bio statement, and there would be some set word limit. We could kind of see what fits on a page, and we'd all get the same set word limit. The township email address and our current assignments would also be on that. So the main difference would be that we would get essentially a paragraph or 2 to do like a short bio, saying who you are, if you want to do your family, and any general philosophy that you'd want to share. I'd say we do similar to what you were talking about. No political commentary, no political affiliation or party references, because we're nonpartisan government, so that would keep with it. No attacks or endorsements of others. We want the page is totally on you. It's about you. It's not there to be a political statement. It's about the council member. And then I wouldn't want any outside links or non-township email addresses, because that could leak to all kinds of stuff. I think we just followed something like that, similar.
I mean, that's almost.
Yeah,
that's
I
reading
mean,
what I wrote.
yeah, yours was kind of long. I mean, but
Again,
no, I looked at it. I
if I
think,
wordsmith it, that's great.
yeah, no, I'm
One
just
thing that
saying
you
if
left
that,
out- One thing that you left out is something that we all do is we have open office hours. We
right,
have
that's,
listening meetings.
but that's not static. So this,
Right,
but
so I-
then somebody would have to go in there and change the page.
Change it.
And it would be much better, and plus of all, nobody's going to your page unless there's a reason anyway. So it's
That
much
would be
better
okay.
for all of us if we do the calendar and the announcements like we've been doing, and then,
Add
for the app, for the office hours that we're doing here. And then, like we've been doing in the last, couple years or so. But we don't want to be changing that page, because then that means that you'd have to go in and make it a dynamic page would change it.
That's, we're in 2026. It's not.
Oh,
that
no,
hard.
it's,
Update a webpage.
you can,
I did look at a number of other towns' pages, and most of our surrounding towns, right? The most I saw is where they had, a bio and some sort of value statement or something like that, right? Your email, which we already have. I think all of that is fine. The public engagement item, I think, is a concern to me, because there's probably a fine line between an event you're going to in capacity as a council member and what could be construed as a campaign event, right?
Well,
So
that's why there's language in there that. very
yeah, but
specific.
the problem with that is then you're putting the onus on the township administration to make that determination, which I think puts the clerk and the administration in a bad position. So I don't want Allison, or frankly anyone else in the administration, to be deciding, all right, well, Joe or Dan we can't post this item or that item because could be more of a campaign event, right? I think, to me, that's a problem, and I can't support that. If it's a office hours in the municipal building here, right? It was like I held recently, the township posted it, then I think that's fine. If it's say, well, look, I'm going to have a coffee chat somewhere, or I'm going to this event, then I think that's not on township property. That's not a municipal event. I think that the administration just doesn't have a part in that.
So, interesting perspective. My view is that as a public servant, if I am in the community doing a listening session or open office hour, why does it matter whether it's physically in this building or at a coffee shop?
I'm going to say
You
this.
do those.
I do.
Well,
Sonia and I, we've done hundreds of those. I go to a million events. People figure I had, well, for anything, a holding event, I mean.
Should be able to say.
But in this particular case, I don't want people making, oh, was that a political event? Was I there for this reason? Was I there for that reason? Was I giving anyone a cup of coffee? I mean, if we just hold it as off, if we just have using the website, I mean, we could use whatever else we want, but using our township website for regular office hours where we sit and somebody comes in and says, hey, what's going on with the bridge? Or, hey, I have a problem with my neighbor, whatever it is that we've gotten when we've done these, that's doing our job. That, I don't think anyone can question that, but as soon as we start going in and doing the coffee thing and even stuff like that, even our intent is one thing, but someone else can look at it another way. So that really can't be. Now, if the entire council, and here's where we'll talk later about communication thing, if the entire council gets invited to something and who, goes to something as a council and that gets put into a news thing that we did that, that's a whole different deal. But, ribbon cuttings, whatever, different things that we do as a council. But just for this kind of thing, I think the more we keep it to business, the better off.
So for the
Mary.
public's view, I mean,
Yeah,
the
Mayor, you have something.
clause
I mean,
that I would like to add to that is that council members may post notices of events or activities that they're attending in their official capacity that provides residents an opportunity to meet with and discuss township issues, including but not limited to open office hours, listening sessions, community meetings, and other public-facing civic engagement opportunities. So it's not about elections.
That's the
Because
same
the
thing.
Primary purpose is discussion of township business, public concerns.
I
To
think-
me,
I think-
that's my role as a.
And
council
No,
member.
I get that, and I think I hear that, but at the same time, for that, we would need, somebody, and which is Allison, basically, will have to work with us to update our pages on a regular basis. Whereas if we have a static page and if we are posting a office hours here, we make an announcement on township, calendar. Like I think Dan, you have done that. Joe, you recently did that, and we have done that too. But that it's happening here as office hours, and it just goes out as an announcement either through e-blast on the website, on the calendar. I think that's fine. Mayor, you had
Yeah,
something to add?
and my comment is because it it said council guidelines, I haven't been paying attention, has nothing to do with me, I have no say. But a lot of stuff you're talking about, website stuff involves administration, so if you're going to talk about that, I need time to look at what the proposal is
course.
and talk about it. I thought this was just talking about
So that's
the
what
document that you pass on first meeting every year.
Right,
On
so-
January 15th.
I think
Yeah.
my suggestion would be, I think we all had a little discussion here as the first point. Maybe we also take a
Do the
look
same
at this,
thing with this.
same thing with this, take a look and
Okay, so none.
send our suggestions to Allison.
Mhm.
Feel free to copy me on
Yeah,
it.
that'd be great.
And
Again-
then we can take it from there and move forward. And yes, I agree with Mayor. If it involves putting things on website, now we are getting administration involved, so we need to get a buy-in on that as well.
Of course, yep. I mean, that's the goal of this body. We're
Yep.
supposed to be a deliberative body. So
Yeah.
let's deliberate.
So I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
I
that's
think this is
fine.
good. We have a good understanding of
Good.
what we want to do. One thing that we did all agree today is that we would want to put it a standard procedure to have a discussion on the procedural guidelines in like late November, beginning of
And
December.
I can come up
after
with
the-
wording for that.
Yeah, if we can figure out
there's
a
a
proper wording for that.
There's a standard date for when the elections are certified.
Yes.
Usually November 20 something.
Or so
whatever.
maybe
Yeah.
the first
So
meeting
first
after
meeting
the
would
certification,
be the
that way.
safest thing to do.
Yeah, or use the wording from the,
Yeah, that
Right.
way.
from the chronological
whatever the
index
state
that they give out.
sets, it's-
So does that sound about right?
Yep.
Yep, okay,
Thank
right. Thank you. The next item is our
Budget.
because budget, that's one of our biggest roles. We are getting into budget season. We are in February. So late last year, Andrea had reached out to, and I think we have had this procedure for the last few years where each council members have given their priorities to the administration. If we want to discuss that quickly before the budget gets finalized and comes to in front of the council, which is going to be very soon in March. Hopefully we'll get the binder books sooner than that.
Before end of February, I believe. is the
Yeah.
deadline.
Well, that's the law, but if we can get it 2 days ahead.
No, end of February.
Yeah,
End of
the
Feb.
law says February 28th.
Well, you have to give it to us by then, so that's the latest.
Yeah.
Latest. Yeah, so we, if you want to discuss that, one of the, looking for that email.
Yeah, I did a summary sheet from all of
Yes, I think
these,
everybody has a copy of the summary sheet. Each of us had put in our ideas of what we would like to do. Few main things that we all saw was road improvement programs as well as bicycle and pedestrian programs are high priorities. I think few of our audience members would like that. So I think that we all agree on sidewalks. If we want to discuss about fixing of sidewalks, this one, Rick?
Oh, yeah, okay, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to the first point. Council members want to take another look at the township fixing sidewalks that are legally residents' responsibility. I think that's something that we want to discuss because by ordinance, sidewalk maintenance is homeowner's responsibility. Township has a special program that we put in money every year to take care of sidewalks lifted because of the trees.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that program is very specifically
Very
targeted
specific,
to
right.
sidewalk problems that are attributed to tree damage, either roots or any other.
Which is a really high percentage.
Township-
Yes.
Township trees.
So the trees in the.
In the little
the strip,
small
yeah.
strip, right, exactly. So we need to take a look at that and see,
So are you suggesting like a fund that could be used for other sidewalk issues?
No.
no, my
That would be really
my suggestion-
complicated.
my thought is by ordinance, me as a homeowner is responsible for the sidewalks in front of my house. Now, if I don't have a tree in that little strip,
Right, yeah,
then
you have no case.
I have no case.
Right.
But if my neighbor has that tree, then she or he has a case.
Right.
Right? So I would like to enforce the ordinance on, put the ownership on homeowners and use that funds to improve and add better and connect sidewalks and bike lanes or wherever other places where we could use the
So
funds.
effectively remove the tree damage fund in the specific use case that it is being used for today.
That's the suggestion.
Yeah, and I'm just
And-
restating it so I understand it
yeah.
correctly and reallocate it for broader sidewalk.
Right now, it's almost, somebody knows about the plan, they get it, and they get it. More and more people know, so now it becomes where it's going to be super expensive, and that's taking funds away from a lot of other things that are going on, and it really is an individual's responsibility. You sometimes get a thing where somebody says, I'm in a hurry, and they have to pay for it, and their neighbor says, well, I don't care, and they don't, because they'll wait. What I would suggest too is, one thing is, if we do this, we really have to, not just say tomorrow, hey, it's too bad, you're on the list. We probably would have to say, okay, we're going to stop at a certain point. And what I would personally like to do, and I know the mayor's not thrilled with this, one of the reasons we did this plan is because we get a lot better price than each individual homeowner gets. But we do a plan that nobody else does. But another plan that I think is done in a few areas is we're going to have to do sidewalks anyway, because some of the sidewalks are on township property. So we're going to have to, at some point, go out and bid for sidewalk. And if we could do a once-a-year thing, you have up to whatever the date is, you sign up, and then we will let you in on our bid.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that would be, I think,
You get a group rate. basically.
Yeah, we could offer that possibly. I mean,
It
I,
requires some administration.
it requires some administration. We could offer it. We could even offer it if there isn't trees possibly, just to get sidewalks fixed. If you add that route, you're off, right, you're opening it up to a certain point. You know how many people have committed to sign up. We take it out of, we did put tax money, however we decide to do it. I'll let the finance people figure it. I would personally like to see something like that offered because I think it would really be a big impetus to people fixing their sidewalks.
People to actually.
And
Because it is incredibly expensive to do it as a one-off.
Right,
So
it's a
to be able to
one-off,
say,
and then
I'm
Right.
willing to
and we would have more.
this program.
We would have more control over the quality, plus we would have control over that people aren't going and chopping the roots off at the bottom of the trees, and then we're stuck for $20,000 removing a huge tree instead of the money for the sidewalk. So I think offering something like that, it would probably be a popular
It
program.
would be like a continuity to
And-
everything would.
And it would be fair, because if you have 6 sidewalks to fix, then you're paying for that. And if you have 1 sidewalk to fix, you're paying for that. So
I think that's a good idea.
that's my thought on it.
One thing that concerns me is that would somebody who has a damaged sidewalk because of a township-owned tree be in a position to sue the township because the township's tree caused damage to their property?
It'd be hard place, because,
It says the homeowner's
yeah.
responsible.
What it
Right.
clearly says owner is responsible.
And, yeah, the rest of the state, the rest of the country from what we could find, puts these street
Mayor, you
trees
can
in.
correct. We have a very
Mhm.
special program where we provide this service to the residents, but our ordinance clearly states that homeowners are responsible to take
And
care of.
we did do a study on this once when we went over how to fix the sidewalks and everything, and we asked Dan Dobromelski at the time, can you find us anything similar? And there was really nothing.
I'd be
out there.
curious if Michael,
Mike?
Sidewalks.
if our council would do a little research to see if that's even a concern at all, that
The
is
the
it-
concern's always been the other way. The concern's been if you offer to fix it, now, is it,
But in
yeah.
our particular situation, if now we switch to this new model, are we subjecting ourselves to potential lawsuits of people?
Could we?
And maybe it's another, maybe I'm just making,
No, I'm just saying.
Well, it's an option.
Yeah.
That's how I think,
say again?
No good deed
Goes unpunished.
unpunished.
So,
Well,
um,
been,
maybe just as a safety,
No,
review.
thinking
well, we've
out loud,
been
Not
told,
repeating it.
yeah,
could,
we've been
if
told it's the other way.
If we go
Mhm.
go that route,
Yeah.
we could come up with a let's say a time frame. Open up for the residents to put in their sidewalk in that list. I don't know.
A couple
and
months.
then-
It's gonna take a little.
And then whoever makes it to that list.
Yeah.
They'll be basically grandfathered in.
Right, we
would
can,
grandfathered in, go through it, but
We give
After-
everybody notice.
right, I don't know.
And eventually there's an
thinking out
end,
loud.
yes.
Great idea.
So I don't think we don't want to say, hey, we've told you to put your name on the list, but too bad right now. At some point, the list stops. It's not, so you give whoever's on it, you extend it a little bit so people want to jump.
Well,
And
This
then,
is something that won't happen overnight. It is-
yeah, we're helping a future council.
just to mitigate against potential lawsuits.
Well, it's not just lawsuits, it's kind of what you promised,
Well,
yeah.
doing-
Yeah,
doing
well,
right.
people may look upon it like,
Yeah.
like a thing.
But at the end of
so-
the day, I'm still worried about, are we gonna get sued?
Yeah,
Because
but
somebody's
we've been told continuously that having this program and offering it
Actually.
without, I don't want to get into this kind of conversation, obviously, but, so,
Works both ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Understood.
so,
I just want to cover all the
yeah,
bases.
but
make
that's
sure we-
something that we could ask for the attorney with, what's the pluses, what's the minus and stuff like that. We're building up too much money here from Mike. I don't know, we're gonna have to. Yeah.
budget, please.
We have a budget for this, that's.
To develop the program, you might need 1-year cycle.
Yeah.
Take another
Yeah,
test this year,
whatever.
Buddy,
It's probably gonna be worse than that from what's on there, but, okay.
then you're
yeah.
gonna have to say, this is the last year that we are doing
We,
it.
you know,
We're developing a new program where by ordinance, you still are responsible for to fixing the sidewalk. However, we will have a new program and you can get into the bid pool.
And that's,
My-
and
my
that's my,
thing,
my, that's what I would like to do. I'm sure I'll,
So-
We need to
Yes.
have a brainstorm
I-
Yeah.
session on that. and
I
see.
also
Once-
think you have to consider the administrative
No,
Management.
Linda, once,
management of this, because if you offer it, people will
Take it.
take it. And I don't believe council wants to put false expectations.
Yeah,
out
like
to-
I wasn't even talking about a new program. I was talking about,
A special assessment on a tax bill, you know,
Linda, our,
something like that.
our hands are more than full now.
Yeah, well, I mean, so
Well, we'll
starting
see.
this off as just.
Yeah.
I can see how it would be a burden on the administration, right? Trying to bill and collect, and track all this, you know, so.
See,
my goal,
what-
my.
One thing you can do is say that whoever gets on the list by X date, we will fix it, not tomorrow, maybe over
Whenever.
next 10 years, but that's it. Once that's done, there are no bids. Then you are on your own to fix it, whichever way you want to fix it.
That's what I was saying, like, you know,
Just
get
no budgeting.
whoever gets it, we decide the time frame. I don't know what that time frame
Yeah,
is. And whoever gets in that list gets grandfathered into that program, and then once that list ends, it ends.
Yeah,
I
one of
mean,
the
I-
values of that program is not just, you know, obviously providing financial relief to those folks, but also it provides an opportunity to do this kind of work in bulk, so we get these great, you know, better rates.
Yeah, I mean, you want to think
How do
about
we,
administration. What about the administration of people not fixing their sidewalks and now getting the complaints and you have to go after them because their neighbors are complaining their kids are tripping? So there's administration could be either way. So we
Yeah,
can
but
talk
that's
about
a-
that.
that kind of program, even though it's not specific to tree roots and it requires a little bit of administration, as everything will, I think provides value. to
Well, that's
the
what I'm
residents.
saying, that there's administration either
It
way.
has benefits to the whole
Right.
community because
Hmm.
we're predicting that it will likely result in people being more proactive in fixing their sidewalks because now it's not, you know, they don't have to take a third mortgage out.
I would like to see us do something, and I think if we don't do it, there will also be a cost because people will not be fixing their sidewalks. And we're gonna be in a constant mode of having to go tell somebody, go fix your sidewalk,
We
go.
can't get people to shovel sidewalk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look at how big a problem that is. So, anyway.
I know.
All right, we're not gonna solve this now, but I think it's something we
idea.
wanted to start discussing.
Yeah, we're not going to solve it, but I wanted to start that conversation and, you know, start thinking and see, what we want to do in that, area. Several requests to see more in-depth analysis from different departments. Who was that from?
There's a bunch of different
Yeah.
things on there. One thing that was sort of glossed over when you talked about the road improvement, that it wasn't just the bicycle pedestrian.
No, it's more road improvement
it's more-
programs.
but
It's,
road
adding
improvement-
sidewalks and bicycle
Well,
lanes.
but roads also, there
Pavements.
needs to
Just
be
resurfacing.
resurfacing, and I do want to see a different system where we go to one where we do a special basis on it.
When
I
we were
had,
at the league,
Mhm.
Andrea and I had stopped by at a couple of vendors who do provide these programs. And I think, Mayor, you stopped by and spoke to a few of those vendors too, right?
right. and
The
then
road improvement program.
City Logic had,
City
I think,
Logic.
the one we kind of like
Yeah,
best.
we are in the process. I mean, the previous company that used to do for
They went
us
out of
has
business.
stopped. So we are in the process of signing up with new one, but they can't, I mean, during normal winter, they can't do it till
This
April.
winter.
Okay.
This winter, it's who
We
knows.
usually
Right.
work between
Yeah.
spring and
Yeah.
early fall, I think.
But we will sign, I mean, they can map sewer holes and trees and other stuff too. So hopefully we'll get everything mapped.
But I do want to see something
And
where
prioritize,
we set our budget up where over a certain period of time, we've broken even on how the condition of the roads to one where it's an acceptable condition. So we have to put enough in the budget to do it a target base. And the only way we can do that is once this gets measured, we can see where we are on the scale. I believe it's I believe they use the standard 1 to 100 scale and set a minimum of what we consider acceptable for a road, then we can budget back. And I believe some of the system here even figures out what the approximate costs are and gives you some setups. But, that if we could see something like, let's say over 5 years, we get ourselves to a point where our roads are a certain standard of how good they are, whatever our target is, and then whatever we need to spend to keep it that standard, that would be the kind of system I would like.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I'm waiting for you to go through all your list and then I'll talk.
So that's why we can't afford everything.
Just say with the roads, we are so far behind with the amount of money that we budget in the capital budget for residential roads. Because many developments are 30, 40 years old, and you see the cracks, and each year the cracks are getting bigger, and the potholes and everything. And after this winter, it's going to be a challenge. So that needs to have a lot more money on that line item. And I don't mean $50,000. You could double it. You could double it, and you'd have enough roads in town. To just put.
Well, this is again, if we move the sidewalk funds here, we could add more funds there.
Sidewalk.
You can say it's a drop in the bucket.
I know, it is drop in a bucket, but it's still a drop in a bucket.
I'm talking like real money. Because the problem is getting worse every year, and we're in the 30 to 40-year-old roads that are all crumbling. all over.
I read all of this,
Yeah.
that Andrea, whoever gave me, Sonia. I'm just waiting for you to finish everything, then I'll.
He will give his comments, okay.
And
Permitting process.
a comment sort of related to that. I think it's really, and I know a lot of our capital projects are, multi-year based, so we don't necessarily spend them all in that given year, and we pool multiple years together and to get bigger rates. I think if you could provide a little bit more visibility, especially in the road improvements and some of these capital projects that there's plans to sort of pool these numbers, because without that information, it looks like we're just, even though we're approving this money in the budget, it's not actually getting spent, which I don't think is really the case. I think you're, working towards that, but give us a little bit more context of how that will work. Not this moment, but I think during the budget process, that would be really helpful for us.
Yeah, it would cash flow over its number of years and then how much is left, yeah.
The chief financial officer can pull that up.
I asked
Not a lot.
for it, don't.
No, well, yes, for it. I want to know what's left each count, line by line. And the total, how much money is unencumbered, how much money is not spent, and where we are.
Yeah.
But I know it's not hard to figure that out because it's on the computer.
Right.
You have to know that, right?
But-
You're chief financial officer. You have to know that.
Permitting process, we do hear a lot of complaints about long time for permitting, receiving any permitting permits for any projects in township. So that is something that we keep hearing over and over and again, that it's very difficult to get permits in West Windsor. I know I think our staff and everybody is very diligent, and they follow every code very closely. I think that's a good thing. But anything we can do to improve, and the timing, I think that is the biggest complaint that we hear about permitting
And
process, the
part of-
time it
and
takes.
Part of the timing is people's understanding of what has to be done, and if there's a correction, how long it takes. I think that's something that needs to be looked at. I mean, we hear certain stories, other people may hear others. Maybe the stories are all wrong because people only see the outcome, but there is some issue. We've heard it from residential and we've heard it from businesses. So it's worth looking at what we can do.
Yeah.
And I think you had mentioned the whole thing about, let's at least give people a window, especially residents, a window of when the inspections would come. I think we've even brought that
yeah.
up, and I think you said that's
I think
something we
that
could
would-
probably
I think that
do.
would be helpful, so they're not
Um,
waiting for a whole day, the 4-hour window or what normally, like, PSEG, when they call
But
you.
is
or
that really
something,
a
they give you
budget
photo.
issue? I don't know if that's a budgeting issue. It's.
That's not a,
just
it's more of a
Process.
process issue.
It's precious, but this is the time of year when we get our professionals
Yeah.
before us, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, several references to use of new information system technologies to improve communications, management and information. And then I skipped the first point for this very reason, because let me just read this one and the other one. The one major area of agreement from the whole council is the need for a staff member to handle the job of communications to residents. So that is something that we all, I think, agree on, somebody who can do PR for the township per se.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
PR
information.
necessarily, information, newsletters.
Public
updating the-
communication.
Yeah, that's what I said, PR, public
Communication.
relations.
Well, not necessarily.
Not
Not
right.
relation, communication.
Yeah, make it sound like we're selling something.
Communication.
But, yeah, public
Yeah.
communications, I think is a good way to describe
I
it.
think that is something that each of the council member agree here on, and we would want to hear from Mayor his thoughts on that. We have had conversations in length, I think individually, each of us have mentioned it to you, something that we would like to see.
Yeah, I'm making notes, so I'm.
We're looking at you.
I will answer all questions.
I don't know.
Hey,
and that's-
flashing beacons, please.
He wants a grand total. That's what he's looking for.
He wants a grand.
Well, I think one of the values of having a communications person is it also takes some of the work effort away from the individual departments and makes their life easier and efficient. So I think there's an incremental cost to it, but I think there's also a cost saving component to it at the same time. So,
It costs in time,
yeah.
of each department too.
And we know that
because-
the departments are all, operating, at capacity. So any opportunity that we can give them to shift some of the workload away from them, I think is a good move.
Yep.
And I think the more, like, even if you're doing road work, somebody coming out ahead of time, letting people know if a road's closed, when it's not closed, things like that. You wind up saving, instead of having 100 people call up that morning and say, hey, why is this road closed? If somebody knows ahead of time, all the time, and has a way of seeing it, you're going to wind up saving in the long run.
Yeah, we heard it last, fall election.
Yeah.
We heard that need for better communication, someone to handle all this, they handle part, the website, other things, has to be someone who has that right skill set to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you've heard this probably from everybody.
If I'm missing anything, let me know. One other thing that I would like to add here, and it's not a big ask, this being the 250th year, last couple of years, we have talked about getting these welcome to West Windsor signage. Because right now, all we have is the small tin sheet. So if we can get on that, I think, we are celebrating 250th year. I know Historical Society is planning a whole year of programs. If we could get on, we did, I think, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we had put some money in the budget to design.
Well,
the
to actually
welcome signs.
produce, we should actually make signs.
Because
No, welcome to Westminster signage.
Yeah, that was the
Andrew and I had
capital.
had met with member of the administration about the signs, and we've been making progress, and so now we got to make sure that there's some money put in for that.
But if we tie it into the 250-year anniversary, is there grant opportunities related to that to pay
That's
for
an
some of this?
interesting point. I'm not sure.
Assuming that we use
You
some of our
want
new
to
logo
you want to defer the signs even longer because if they're grant funds?
No, I mean, it's not specifically for the celebration.
I know,
It's not.
but
No.
new signs would
No.
include the logo for 215 as the celebratory.
Oh, okay.
Well, these are.
Yeah, I know.
they're
I'm
permanent
just-
signs.
These are permanent signs. It's not specific to whether it could
Yeah.
be a
But-
year.
Because after the big celebration, then.
There-
then
There
it's
was money.
The logo is.
Yeah.
fine.
There was money put in a capital budget years ago for the signs, and we just, I
Oh.
think we're talking about when we were meeting over in the senior center during COVID, that was put in during that budget. So whether it was enough, because it turned out the version of the signs they were thinking of were sort of similar to stop signs in terms of quality, and we probably put something a little nicer. But at least if we can start, at least we can come up with something, get there, and then decide
Yeah.
the
Man.
money, you know, maybe there's,
Yeah, off the top of my head, how much is this?
I don't know.
they're going up, everything's gone up. Yeah, there's somewhere is a whole list of how many big signs, yeah, no, there's a whole list. How many big signs we'd need, how many little, how many here, how many there, so there actually was some
Yeah,
work
I mean,
done.
There's probably at least 20 signs.
It was like almost 30, I think, by the time, yeah.
So,
She could do
Yeah.
that.
so it's not a rounding error after a while.
At least two
Yeah.
big ones. Now, maybe on 571. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we do want the signs at some point.
Yeah, am I missing anything? Did I miss any point that anybody else?
I'm not going to rehash anything anybody already said, but just one other thing is just thinking about how we use technology, how we can be efficient and use technology. I work in the corporate world. I haven't been to a meeting in 10 years where I've had, this much paper. I think we're very manual and paper based, from what I've seen. And so I think that's just something that, needs some thought put into it.
Well, this was all done,
the
these were
government-
all done as digital stuff, and then it just got printed to make it easier to work on the
This is a
table.
lot about
Right,
it.
but that's takes people time. I think there's a lot of time being spent on things like that. So
Yeah. So, I mean, in the context of that, one thing that I pointed out was potentially a capital program to evaluate where technology enabling capabilities would be of value to the township operations. I don't profess to know every single department and where they can improve, but I'm sure if you ask them, they probably have lots of ideas. And if you ask, an independent auditor who understands about technology transformation programs, they would come up with a recommendation of sort of where to start, what are the most, high impact areas that could improve township operations. There's probably some areas that don't need it at all, and maybe there's some areas that do, but.
And there's some areas that it may not be good this week, but in 2 months,
And-
it'll suddenly will come up.
It's not, not something that happens overnight. It's a multi-year process. It's an iterative process. But having a capital project over multiple years to sort of keep the lights on in a modern way is I think an option to.
Also look at AI. I see all these articles about AI. It's here. It's not like the future anymore. It's,
AI is just a tool.
but it's a tool,
it's a-
but can we get efficiencies?
But that goes back to.
That's part of the whole
Technology
thing.
management.
Yeah.
plan, right? The modernization
Yeah.
plan.
Joe, you're talking about these many papers. We used to get printing everything, all the attachments, instead of receiving it in an email and reading it on our computers. We used to get stack originally of everything that we don't necessarily need papers. We have cut down on paper.
Yeah, and if you wanted to see the bills list, you had to go into a little office and there was a book
that
where
you
they
would go
printed
through.
out all of the bills and you had
So
to
we've
flip through them,
definitely
yeah.
improved, but I'm not saying
Mhm.
there's still
There's-
room.
no,
for
there
improvement,
is.
For sure.
A lot of the stuff we scan really should be put in, if we wanted to get the information back, it should be put in a slightly different way, because we basically turn it into JPEGs and stuff that really you can't get much out of easily. So, yeah, so there are a bunch of things that could be done.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's one other, there's an area that I pointed out. I think we've had some conversations about, I know we struggle in some cases of getting recruiting and hiring. It's a very competitive market. Not to place blame on anybody, but do we make a concerted effort to figure out how do we fill the gaps in our staffing? And is that through a recruitment program? Is it hiring, a third party to supplement our recruiting efforts? In the context of a budget, do we allocate some funds to help move that process along? So food for thought there.
I just wanted, not that, but I was, that made me, I just remembered something. Last year, we did not get any bids on the flashing beacon on Penlyle Road. I think, was it Cullowbrook and
Penlyle,
Lyle, right? We didn't, was that because it was too small of a project? Do we need to come up with ideas of getting multiple projects together and bid it? Marlena, maybe?
Let finish everything.
Okay, finish everything. That's all I had. That was one of the things that I just got.
So I think that rolls back into the comment I made earlier about how, we're pooling,
Pooling
having
projects
just
together,
visibility on the strategy of how that's.
right?
So that when we're allocating money, we know that we don't set an unrealistic expectation that it's all going to be spent in that year, that it's actually being used in this broader sense so that we can avoid those kind of problems.
Right. I don't have anything else that I wanted to discuss. If anybody else has anything.
Yeah, there's some little thing.
I'm going to go down the line and make sure we are not missing anything, Dan. Is there
Well, yeah,
anything else?
I put in a couple little items. I'd like to make sure that, or I'd like to see funding to allow us to allow the community to use the multipurpose room in the senior center during off hours. That's probably a small amount for operational.
Yeah, we used to do that.
It's a building use policy type of thing.
Yeah.
School district has something like that, but they charge because, and they also
Yeah.
charge the janitor too, to cover.
Well, they don't do that anymore. They
That's
only
right.
do it for nonprofits. They don't open.
Right now, there's
or-
no option at all. So
Yeah.
maybe it is part of the budget is that there's a fee involved, and that's fine, but I'd like to see an opportunity that the community can use that space. So.
Anything else?
And I would like to see some funding for a food waste compost drop-off program.
Okay. Linda, you have anything else to add?
No,
We have everything. Joe,
No, nothing else.
Andrea?
No, I would like to see a little bit more funding for some of the kind of computer type programs where we could actually do a little bit more tracking on things and have a little bit better records of, or even real-time tracking of certain things where it's a useful.
Like what?
Oh, like even like when they're doing the snow and stuff like that, do they have an idea? Can they tell you when you ask, how's it going? And it's say 6 a.m, is there some automatic system that can say, hey, we've cleared 90% of the main roads or something like that? Or is it, would they have to wait for people to come back in? There are some automatic type systems that we could look at for things that in real time we may, and other systems we might want to, like for the permitting process, maybe there's better ways of seeing where the problem is and finding some way of keeping better track of it.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay. So thank you very much. We do this every year. I appreciate it really. Last year, you got almost everything you asked for.
We did.
I'll talk about other things and then talk about this budget. I like the non-monetary item, permitting process. Perfect. We will do it. I have already talked to Joe. I have some thinking I've done some thinking. We will look at it, but at the same time, I mean,
Sorry, I missed what?
Permitting process. That's a non-monetary item. It's not going to cost dollars and cents. Improving the permitting process. Yeah. I mean, I have followed permitting process for 8.
Talk in this so we
Yeah.
all can hear.
Yeah, and I can hear. So I have followed permitting process for 8 years. That's before COVID. Traffic was the number 1 complaint. Permit was number 2. During COVID, the good thing was traffic complaint went away. Nobody complained about traffic. Now it's back. So there are some things we can do better. We have improved the process a lot. Lot of time it's not understanding the process, and I will figure out. I have some thoughts about figuring out how we can improve it. But the basic problem is expectations, especially for commercial properties, because our township does it by the book. It's much harder than any other townships in the surrounding area. I mean, that's just the fact. And I tell everyone.
It's one of the biggest complaint we get,
That's-
that we are very difficult.
That's, yeah, but we are difficult, but we do by the book. And I am from India, I would have said, Jugaad kar lo, chala do, right? I mean, she knows what I'm saying. I mean, make it work, just do it whatever way. But I do know two builders complained against us, saying we are very strict. They had connections in governor's office, so DCA came and sat down at our permitting process for a number of days, trying to find mistakes we have made. They didn't find a single mistake. I mean, multiple times. Eventually, last time I had to threaten him that now if you come, I'm going to videotape you and call a newspaper that a private company is using government to harass a township. It came to that extent that I had to threaten them. So I do know that whatever they are doing is by the book, because DCA came specifically to find fault and to punish us, and they couldn't find anything. And these are big builders. As a homeowner, I would like them to cut, I mean, not worry too much about whether it's 6 inches here or there. But when they say that's the code, there's not much I can do. And Jason always tells me when he started in business, the code would fit in his back pocket. Now there are 2 volumes, and sometimes code in one book conflicts with code in another book. There have been
May I
instances.
just
Huh?
ask a question in that context? Are we, or are you seeing complaints about that kind of,
People don't like,
specificity?
see, people like, I won't take any names. Somebody was building a deck. They cite saying that you don't have XYZ missing from the plans, right? He said, why do I need it? The deck will stand this, that, so on. But when he hired a architect, the architect said, look, most townships won't ask you for it, but they are within their rights to ask.
Right, right.
Right? Now, if that's the case, then I can't tell them don't ask.
Right.
Right?
but this is
Morally, I
people just
can't
being
tell them
cranky,
don't
right?
ask. And again, I mean.
They want to get things done at a certain time
and
because they
I
want.
mean, I can.
But they're not complaining about the timeliness. They're complaining about the work that's being, like that.
No, majority of complaints are,
Is it timeliness?
they are nitpicking, they are very strict. And majority of complaints are like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
we
yeah.
have had a argument with 2 builders about projects. I mean, 3 builders about projects. People claim I'm very builder friendly. Nobody has sued West Windsor more than when I was a builder. I mean, there's one builder I jokingly say this week, what's the lawsuit, right? But we have won every lawsuit that has been filed against us. So I do know their book, but at the same time, if you are an individual and doing a project, there's miscommunication in the sense that they talk technical language. I don't talk technical. I mean, I've explained to him many times. As a kid, I had nothing in home to fix. All I needed was a screwdriver and a hammer. There was nothing to fix in the house, right? So if you're talking to me, if you look at code section 28, that's Greek to me. I don't know what code section 28. So there's that kind of issue I have to fix. Again, by law, they can only say something. They can't tell you how to fix it. They can tell you this is a problem, right? By law, they can't tell you fix it like this. So I have followed a lot of examples. I'm going to get 2-3 people to sit down with permitting department, find what the issues were, and try to come up with a solution. But essentially, the problem is we are tougher than any other township.
Yeah, and that's not really a problem per se.
I mean,
Well, I
that-
think it goes,
that-
I think it goes beyond, I think things beyond that, but we don't need to talk about it
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now.
No, I mean,
We
that,
can problem solve this for hours at this point, but
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
important to define what the problem is, and then
see, we
if people are
don't,
complaining because we're being strict,
see, we don't give,
that's
we,
not a valid complaint.
we don't give timeline for inspection. That's not acceptable. That will be fixed.
Right.
That I understand.
So
That
those
we-
are the areas that
we-
you
we-
want to
yeah,
focus on.
those are the areas that are easy to fix.
But,
But-
I mean, the complaint I'll get is of the nature of, I gave them something, they said this had to be fixed, then I went and I fixed that by 20 days, and now they came back and they looked at the next
something
thing,
else.
and it's fixed something else. Why didn't they tell me two things? I mean, I don't, keep in mind, when you're talking to somebody, they're getting nervous, this is the outcome. They're telling you the outcome. So this isn't really the same as investigating what the real problem is, because we're just talking to nervous people trying to figure out what happened. Maybe something else happened. That's why we need somebody, an expert, to kind of go into the system and see what's actually going
Yeah,
on.
I mean, again, I don't know how much in the weeds you want to go, but timing is an issue because, for example, when a builder turns in the uh, uh, final product for approval, it first goes to zoning, then it goes to engineering, then it goes to construction. The construction clock doesn't start till construction gets the document. So they say, oh, we gave you 10 days ago. But the 10 days ago was with zoning first, then with engineering, then it goes to construction. So now when two builders were complaining too much, we said, okay, every time zoning finishes, you come pick up and give us back. So you have a timestamp that how many days we have had it. So
Just to be
again,
clear, Avalon isn't coming and complaining to us. It's those kinds of builders that, I don't know who's in the room. It's usually, it's the residents or the really small business guy.
Again, I mean, one of the improvements we did was when I went early, very early, somebody came and said, hey, I had given in February and they haven't responded back. Downstairs gave me the paper. The builder had told him we gave him February. The stamp said May.
And I've told people to
And
go on
so we
the
started.
website, and they've.
We started,
turned
no,
off.
we started emailing the homeowners and the contractor both, right? I said, I want a homeowner
Yeah,
and
we
the
talked
contractor.
about
We've
that.
talked about
That
that,
way.
but
So,
there is
I
something
mean,
happening.
we
just
can,
don't know
we
what it
can
is.
certainly improve,
Mhm.
but there is, and that's a non-monetary item, so that's not a problem.
So from a
That-
budgeting perspective,
Huh?
I think from a budgeting perspective, which is what we're really talking about, is that if there are budget implications of making those improvements,
Better.
that's what
They're
we want.
not-
And
no,
if there's
they're not.
none, then it's kind of
No, there,
not a value for us to talk about.
no, there are no budget implication. That's why it makes me happy, and you will know why it
Because
makes me happy.
budgeting time is the time when
So-
we get to talk to
I
our
would think,
professionals.
So one
But-
of the things one of the questions asked, I would like to explain now. You asked about whether we pool the projects. We always pool the project. That sometimes makes people unhappy. I mean, ideal example is the flashing beacon outside village hasn't gone out yet. The mother keeps complaining because if we just bid that project, we won't get any bids, right? So we do pool the projects that are very similar in nature to make it at least a minimum bid that is worthwhile for somebody to bid. Now, why you get bids sometimes and don't get bids other times, that's a mystery. I mean, the ideal example, we bid two sprinkler projects, one for 43 and one for 45, right? We got bids for 43, we got good bids for 43, zero bids for 45. No,
Sometimes contractors are booked and don't want to commit, and it affects their ability to get a performance bond.
so I mean, there's really no, and we don't publish a dollar amount that's the, right? So they can bid whatever they want. I mean, we may reject bid if it comes above our threshold, but we don't say that you have to bid under X number of dollars. We have rejected bid number of times. So we do that.
Now, like the reason I had brought up flashing beacon was, again, like, we put the money in the budget, the project is approved, we know where we want the flashing beacon, but now we have no contractors bids coming in, so the flashing beacon does not go in place. is there any alternative that we can look at? Can DPW work with us and can they get trained to put things like that?
I mean,
You know, I'm just thinking out loud.
no, this is not the first project that didn't get bid first time. We go out and bid again and or we combine it with other projects, make it bigger and bid. If we don't get it bid two times, then we'll figure out what is going on, right? But that brings me also to the question somebody talked about, oh, we allocated money and we don't know where it went. One of the things is Flashing Beacon, ideal example. That was in last year's budget, right? We bid it out, nobody came. First thing is you can't bid it till July or something when you approve the bond ordinance. We bid it out, nobody came. So now we will bid it out now. But that money is allocated but not spent. Okay, so you will see, if you see the budget line for that year, that money will still be there, right? You will think it's not spent, but it's not spent because the project is not complete. But if we allocate $2 million for roads every year, we spend $2 million on road every year. We cannot spend it for something else. When you get the bond ordinance, there's a whole category of bond ordinance. We can move between one and second category, but we can't completely. If we have to take the money out and spend on something else, we have to come to the council and get. That's why there's a bond ordinance introduced today about the sprinkler system, right? We have to come back to the council and do it. So it may not be every dollar for all the big projects, for the sidewalks, for the roads. What's the third category? Every dollar that is allocated over the last 5 years is spent. It may take 3 years to spend. We don't pay until the project is complete, and just the sidewalks they did on our street, right? They did those sidewalks, and then we found out they were not compliant with the federal ADA rules, right? So they had to come back and rip it up. Now, if winter had come, it would have gone to next spring. That money is already spent, but not paid out. Okay, if you ask John for a statement, he will show that money available in the budget, but it's not truly available. It's not spent. It's allocated but not paid out to the vendor because he didn't finish the project.
Right.
But if you allocate $2 million to the road, every last penny is spent on the road. I mean, some $500, $2 million, $200,000 may be left if the project comes under the budget, but every dollar amount is spent. Okay. Somebody asked about pooling. We don't do pooling like that. We do pooling in the sense that, for example, if you see senior center, we would allocate $25,000 every year. Arts Council, we would allocate $25,000 every year. When a big project comes up, we use that money to do that big project. So
And you could pull it for multiple years.
multiple years, yes, but that is,
Yeah, same
But-
thing for like.
yeah, but again, I mean, I can't pull senior center money and do roads.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely, yeah.
It's,
But it all has to be lined up to the same.
right. But that's only that's only so that if suddenly 3 projects come up one year, you're not in a funk. Like, I don't think any of you, Linda was on the council, the sewer came on Washington Road, right? That suddenly we had allocated money over the years, so we could do that. We have to use the state system to maintain accounts, not ideal system. 3 years ago, they made us change it. It's still not an ideal system. It looks like DOS, if anybody knows what DOS is.
Yep.
Right, okay, you know what DOS is, okay. So it looks like DOS. So unfortunately, we have to use that system because we have to submit the budget to state in that system. So it's not very user-friendly. You won't get nice, fancy Apple type user interface to that. I will ask John if there's anything we can do about it. But if you sit and look at John's computer, it literally looks like DOS. The numbers go zzz, and Excel. If I missed anything, then ask me. Now the bad news for you.
You're the information person, remember?
Huh? Yeah. That I'm coming. Hiring. I have it read. Hiring. Now the bad. Until now, in 8 years, I never have had a budget problem. This year, our Healthcare costs are going up by 26.42%, roughly $1.6 million. Our penny of taxes is roughly $613,000. I think the assessment is close to 6.1 billion, 6.12 billion. So a penny is roughly $613,000. So just to cover the healthcare cost is going to be roughly 2.5 pennies. So the taxes are going up 2.5 pennies. Very likely the state will take this out of 2%, otherwise we can't do the budget. I mean, it's impossible to do the budget. So this is a problem for everybody. So they will take it out of the 2%, but still that limits your ability to hire people, do other projects, or do $50 million more for roads. But once I give you the project, once I give you the budget, if you don't like 2 million for road, you can make it 3 million. Just means the tax goes up from 2.5 to 3 pennies, right? So roughly 600,000 is a 600,000 is a penny to look around. People keep asking, when I became mayor, we had a full-time secretary, right? I don't need a secretary. So when she retired, we had a part-time. When she retired, uh, I said, I'll manage. And Cynthia has done wonderful. So because I didn't think that was good use of taxpayer money. If you talk to the police chief, he will say he needs 8 more people. If you talk to the fire chief, he will say he needs 8 more people. DPW needs 8 more people. We need 8 more EMTs to make it 24/7. So there's a lot of demand for every position that you have. So when you start about talking about hiring people, you have to decide what your priorities are. And I do realize we have to communicate better. I've already started talking to our IT guy. I just met him this week again. We will figure out a way. But I cannot promise that it will be a body. It will be a new person. We will figure out a way. Communication will be a lot better than it was last year. But you have to start thinking about what your priorities are, because the budget I'm going to give you is going to be already with roughly at least 2 pennies increment. Our UCC went down by $1 million and it will continue to go down. Now there's not too many construction projects coming up, right? The last one probably is Princeton is building a baseball stadium. But other than that, there's no big projects left. So when there are no big projects left or no land gets converted to commercial use, we don't get rollback taxes, we don't get UCC fees. So the income is going to be tough at least for next 2 years. So when I give you the budget by end of February, and I've already met John a couple of times and trying to figure out what we want to do, what we don't want to do. But then you have to decide, if you do increase X year, then you have to do Y year. Maybe, like you said, you say, okay, we'll do sidewalks for this day, but we won't do anything this year because this year is tight. But we committing to finishing any sidewalk that's reported by certain date, say June 30th, whatever date you pick. You will fix it, but you won't fix it before that. Oh, senior center school. See, school district is also having a hard time renting. They don't rent anymore. I mean, and in India, they find it hard time to maintain the school. I mean, they increase the fees tremendously. In spite of that, they don't rent because they don't find it. So, senior center, let me figure it out. But again, it's a manpower problem, and if you start charging people, they say, hey, I pay taxes. Nobody wants to pay, right? I pay taxes. Why should I pay this?
Yeah.
So that's a delicate subject.
So
yeah. I mean,
I think it's worth looking into. It
Well,
doesn't need to
it's-
be. I think if you plan for like, hey, let's budget for one event a month or one a week, I don't think there's an expectation that it's going to be used every single night. So
yeah, but my philosophy is, if I said yes to you, I can't say no to her,
well,
right?
it's availability.
Yeah. So that's a big challenge. So I will try to see what we can do, what we can do there. But again, we held Martin Luther King in this room by me taking responsibility, and I always tell.
That's a township.
Hmm?
That's a township
Yeah,
organization.
that's a town, but I mean, this is the first year we held it here,
We
right?
held it in the senior center before. We've been holding
Yeah.
on property.
Once, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a township
So-
event, the same as
Yeah.
this council meeting is.
So, I don't make any guarantees, but I will see what I can do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else has anything else? Do we have any update on the senior center bus?
Yeah, we have made an offer to somebody, but last time also we had made an offer to somebody and then last minute the person backed out. So unless he or she starts driving, I'm not going to commit anything. We had 4 candidates. They originally my thought was it's hard to get somebody with CDL. You need a CDL to drive that bus. I had told John, forget about it, let's buy a van. But looking at the budget, I can't justify that.
Is there any opportunity to partner with the
We have
district?
asked the school district. We have asked a school district, we have asked other organizations if they want to do it. Not much.
What did the school district say?
The school district, nobody want, I mean, I'll ask exactly what the school district, see, but this problem with the school district is the limited time, right? The person can start driving at 9 AM and the person has to be back by 2:15 or 2:30 at most.
Right.
Because the 2:44, they do double 2 runs, right? Once for high schools, middle school, once for
So
elementary.
between 9 AM and 2 PM probably is their window that they can,
Yeah,
they can give.
and that is not enough window to make 2 or 3 trips. I mean, we require at least 2 trips, if not 3 trips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a lot of unhappy people were.
I know, I went to an event last week. Saturday, I got my head chopped off.
Oh,
So-
I got my head chopped off at the senior center last week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He told me that people were asking. Andrea.
I told him you already
I-
tried the schools and the whole deal.
I
Yeah.
told him, why do you think I didn't come?
Oh, one quick thing, not for tonight, but I'd like to get on the trail issue, an update at some point.
The trail issue, I did meet with Bob last weekend. I told him that it's going over the budget. Originally, they had budgeted 50,000. So right now, he's going to go and back to Green Acres and ask if they can reduce the scope of the trail. But right now, we are not going to do it at this point, not pursue it at this point.
Change from what council had approved.
I did go, yes, I did go, I did meet with him in person and had long conversation. So right now it's on status quo, it's holding.
Okay, all right. Do we have any further administration updates?
The only update is the deadline on the essay and the application is March 9th.
Okay. We don't need to go into closed session. That's it, right? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
9:32. Thank you, everyone.